You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it. The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together. Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
I mean, that's just like your opinion, man. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole. Oh, the dude abides, folks. Welcome back to the Charger Chat.
If you're not on YouTube, you're missing out right now.
I'm trying to be a distraction right now.
You're very distracted.
We're tearing each other apart, and you know what? It's time to bring out the big guns.
We're gonna get demonetized right now.
We might get flagged for nudity.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? All right,
just a lot to handle.
Let me hide the boys.
I'm Kevin.
Welcome back, folks, to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Will Dugson, with my buddy Kev Huggin Duggan.
What's up, guys?
Let's not forget Kyle, the coach Duggan.
Dude, you've done something real bad. You are a whole persona right now. You are a new character.
I feel like I need to be right now to.
We need to get you a white Russian
to envelop, to digest everything that's happening right now, folks. Let's see. We've got a heck of an episode lined up for you. We've got a pretty special Bolt Insight. I'm actually pretty happy that we got this person on.
Well, we can say who it is.
Go for it. That's your
It's kind of. I was surprised because we just reached out to him. It's Kris Rhim from ESPN who covers the Chargers now. So he gives us some insight on what it was like being in the locker room this week.
That.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. So tune in.
Well, we've got Kris Rhim on Bolt Insight, and we've got a sweet mamma jamma of an Ask Boltfam that took me a while to get through. I took a couple shots.
I looked over at Adam one point, and
I cried for a little bit.
A single tear running down his face,
just slowly unbuttoning his shirt.
Just one button at a time. Tears turned into buttons.
I looked to Kevin. I said, "I know what I have to do.
I don't want to, but I'm doing it for us.
I'm not the hero they need. I'm the hero they deserve.
I'm the sex appeal they want."
All right, folks. Well, let's talk about it. Kevin and I got to go to Green Bay.
Dude, this was set up to be one of the greatest weeks of all time. And you know what? It was up to a certain point. But man,
just one of the greatest alley-oop passes of all time. Just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, I had a case of the dropsies this weekend. I blame myself. But we had an awesome time.
No, it was a really good time. We left. We got to Milwaukee, me, Kevin, and Kevin's wife, Josie.
Yep.
I got to Milwaukee, and immediately I was like, this is a cool
you were
town.
digging the Milwaukee
I honestly
vibes.
was digging the vibes. It felt like my kind of town.
Breweries everywhere. Cheese everywhere. I mean, come on.
And that's that.
Look at me.
That's me.
But let's see. We met up with the Broads.
Mm-hmm.
We met up with Kat,
Andrew,
and Christine.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We went to the 3rd Street. What was it? Market? Yeah. That place was rad.
Dude, it was like a bunch of basically like food trucks in like inside.
Just a bunch of little like food cubicles.
They had a
could go
virtual Top Golf.
From. Yeah.
My swing was feeling good.
Yeah.
And then we went out and we saw the fawn. There's a fawn statue.
Yeah, the bronze fawns.
So we took a little hike. You know, I would never do this stuff.
Yeah.
But with the Broads around, they're like, all right, well, they're on adventures.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not going on that.
No.
So we went and we saw the fawn statue.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
It was rad.
And then game day happened. We got up super ding-dang early.
Balls.
Because it was a early game and we had to catch a bus because Milwaukee is at least 2 hours away from Green Bay. So,
oh man, that's rough.
It's a long bus ride. And thankfully there was a little pocket of Charger fans in the back of the bus. Rightfully so.
I just looked over and saw you guys. It's too funny. No, but we took over the back of the bus.
We did. And we played a lot of fun games. The Broads are so thoughtful in coming up with ideas of how to pass the time.
How to maximize your killing power and funnies.
Yes. So we had a blast going up. Once we got to Green Bay, got off the bus, it was...
We can't leave out the fact that the broads made a little picture of Kyle, Cardboard Kyle. We call
Mini Bolt Kyle.
Yeah, we called him Cardboard Kyle.
Showed us that on Saturday night, and that was too funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I loved it. And
I'm honored.
You should be.
Like, you had a great time.
Yeah.
You were smiling the whole time. There was nothing
good.
There was nothing getting you down.
Yeah.
And then we got to Green Bay. It was extremely cold. Like my hands were freezing until we got into the stadium. And then I was like, God, it's so hot. Took my
we're going to talk about like the little dropsies by Keenan in the end zone. We were in that end zone where that dropsy happened. Yes. And I'm not going to lie, I was blinded by the sun. It was like the perfect position, murdering your eyes. Like I was like this the whole game.
It makes sense now why those tickets were so cheap.
Yeah. It's like you're melting.
But yeah, I got to the stadium. There was a Charger party, like a little Thunder Alley.
People showed up. Chargers showed up this awesome game. So there was a lot of us.
There was a lot of Chargers. I would say at least like 20 to 30, maybe even more than that.
I'd say at least like 25-30%.
Yeah.
Chargers.
So what's crazy about Lambeau is that there are just houses like feet away from the stadium. So it's just like these people were having parties in front of their houses, and one of them was a Charger party. Loved that. That was so cool. And
we got in trouble for going into the street.
We did.
Cops came.
Cops yelled at us for trying to take a photo out in the street. If you see the big photo of all the Charger fans at the party,
we weren't supposed to be.
We weren't supposed to do that.
No.
Illegal photo.
Yeah, illegal
photos. And then let's see. So then we got into the stadium. I'd never been to Lambeau. You had been to Lambeau.
Yeah.
And and there's been changes between the last time you went and this time.
Yeah.
Did you like the changes where you're like, oh, this is cool? Or you're like, it's not quite Lambeau.
They just added more seats to the top. I liked it better before because it was less like...
It feels like a high school stadium or a college stadium.
It's the weirdest stadium. And it's all like this. There's no seats. It's all bleacher metal things.
Benches,
so it feels like you're in like a mosh pit. And there's a lot, I'm not going to lie, we're up in that part of town. There are some big boys and big girls up there. So when you sit down there, kind of, I'm in seat 11, they're in seat 10 and into most of 11. Yeah. So, you got to think thin that whole game.
Yeah. If you think there's not room on an airplane for you to sit down.
Go to Lambeau.
Go to Lambeau. And it's this. You have to kind of like sit at like an angle so like your shoulders aren't bumping up against Bubba
like your
Gump.
High school pictures for the team.
Yeah.
Everyone's angled.
Adam and I were holding each other like this. Yeah.
And yeah, man, the sun, like if you're in the shade, you're freezing. If you're in the sun, it's melting. Super hot. You're blinded by the sun. Like I'm spending and I didn't bring a damn hat. I'm so stupid for doing that. I was like, I brought a little beanie because I was like, oh, it's going to be cold. Just bring a beanie. Yeah. Should have brought something with a visor. Should have brought sunglasses. Should have worn sunscreen.
We didn't think
so many should have. I didn't know. Hey, I didn't think about this.
A little bit like our team, we weren't fully prepared for this game.
Yeah. A little unprepared. Poor coaching.
We did not. We didn't.
I didn't watch the tape.
That meeting we had before the game no one listened.
But thankfully, Green Bay they had giveaways, which I haven't been to a sports game in a long time where they gave something away, like some cheap little tchotchke, and they gave away coolers. So blessedly, you could turn that bad boy inside out and make a little makeshift hat.
He looked ridiculous.
Saved my cheeks from getting super sunburned.
He was cool as hell, but he looked ridiculous.
Yeah. Loved the stadium, loved the food, except for the pizza. The pizza was ridiculously bad.
Trash.
I couldn't believe how bad that pizza was. Everything else, so the cheese curds, the hot dog, the beer, everything was great.
It was a great experience up until the end of that game.
And then the game. And man.
And then we skip over that, the long walk back to the bus.
Yes.
And then we went home and we flew home. And that was our trip.
that was our trip in a nutshell, folks.
Yeah.
So
how were the fans? Kind people?
I would say about 80 to 90% were really nice.
I will say this. Yeah. All the guys that I met were amazing. The girls were a different story. The female Packer fans were not the nicest.
Yeah.
And
careful. That's your wife.
No, my wife was cool. Like without her, it would have been way worse. But
my wife was cool.
We were sitting next to three real interesting women and
real pieces of work.
Really pieces of work. And like, really, I just feel bad for whoever their significant others are. Cause I imagine those men feel down on themselves every once in a while. And they just come in and say some shit to them when they can't talk and they're just sitting there and they're like, you know what? Your hair looks stupid today. I'm like, good insight, Carol. Appreciate it. So yeah, a little bit of that.
So yeah, it was
fun.
Yeah, left it. It was a long ride back. There was like
we were sad for an hour, and then we were like, you know what? We're done being sad. We're gonna have fun and hang out because this can't end this shittily.
No.
So we rallied hard.
Yes, and then we came back home because we had an early flight to come back home. So we flew back home, and now we're back in St. Louis. So yeah, fun experience, great memories. I'm gonna remember a lot about that trip. Sad, it's just not the game itself.
Yeah.
That was a real heartbreaking and like it feels like turn of the season type of game to be at.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
yep.
You leave the game, you lost, which sucks. All 6 losses have sucked, but man, that one really feels like that was at the real turning point of the season.
Yeah.
We didn't turn the right direction.
Oh, we zigged when we should have zagged.
Yeah, we zigged instead of zagging. Yeah.
It's just weird for me watching, like being in person, watching our defense. Like people just feel like they're always out of position. Like I don't know if they're not understanding it or what's going on, but like I just felt like we were never in the right position as specifically as the secondary. Like they're just all over the field. And you just I get a feeling at the end of the game, like Justin's going to get the ball back, do something good, but they're going to come right back and score the way we're playing right now. And it's just what it was. The consistency of our defense is just doesn't exist. They're either amazing and they have 8 sacks or they do what they just did. And that's you're not going to win a lot of football games doing that.
Yep. No. So, well, one of the great things that did come out of Sunday was PFF LA Chargers pointed out that Justin Herbert's 92.7 PFF grade versus the Packers was the highest single game grade of his career.
The dude was running so well.
He was running, he was throwing.
He was all over the place. Like he was willing the team to win.
Yeah.
He was putting balls on receivers' hands and in their chests.
Yeah.
And right in their face mask. And
yeah. Sometimes they caught it, sometimes they didn't.
There's only so much you can do as a quarterback. And, you know, there's no faults in Justin's way, in my opinion, whatsoever. He was the most fun part of that game.
Yeah. If there's anybody that had no faults, it was absolutely Justin. Well, all right. There's no good way to tee it up, but let's talk about Coach Staley.
Yeah, let's talk about Coach.
Yeah, there was obviously anybody that saw his post-game presser, not his best moment.
The man was in a corner and getting beat up and said something that I wish he wouldn't have said, just personally.
You know, he definitely wants to take this back.
I think so.
Yeah. All right.
Let's just read it.
So the quote here is the question that Staley was asked is, I think your fan base has given you full confidence in your vision, but they see the product and they see the disconnect.
Okay, so right there, I think that was worded great. Like that was a very soft delivery, you know, like it could have been a lot harder. Where you bring up stats or you look at how your defense is ranked last in a lot of categories for 3 years now, or like he put it to like everyone seems like they got your back and they like have we all trust you. So what's going on? You know, like that wasn't that harsh of a question in my mind.
It wasn't a harsh question, but knowing that the previous question was Dan Popper asking if he was going to be handing over the defensive.
There was it wasn't even
prior to that.
Popper.
He was wound up pretty tight. That's all I'm trying to say.
They were coming. They were coming at him, and they have to. They should because those
Dude,
are all
you just lost to a crappy team. You're a really good team. You just lost to a bad team, and not only that, he's all upset about us talking about the defense. You just made Jordan Love look like Brett Favre,
right?
And he sucks. Like he's not good at football. Everyone's like, should he even be in the NFL? Is he a backup guy? Like, what is his status? Against us, he looked like an all-pro. So suck it up and answer the questions. Like, that's your job. That's a big part of the head coach. All you do is answer questions. Like, I was listening to this interview. Bruce Bochy was on Part of My Take last week, And he was talking about he just won the World Series with the Rangers. He was a manager for the Padres for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He won 3 World Series with the Giants. He's like, man, a big part of my job that I don't like is all the media. Like I have to talk to people. I have to do interviews. That's a giant part of your job as a head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
And he has in the past has done a good job.
He's been great.
Until this year, it's been this slow ticking time bomb of he's angry and it feels like he doesn't have an answer or a solution. And so now he's blowing up.
Yeah. He's reached a breaking point. And this was certainly one of those moments because the person who asked the question, which I don't even know who asked the question, but
it wasn't
Popper.
No.
But Staley cut him off mid question and said, I'm not here to talk to the fan base. I'm here to talk to my players in the locker room. I know that we give ourselves a chance to win every single week with the game plans that we have. Okay. And we have done it here. You guys act like we've never played good defense. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. You act like we haven't made any improvements. Today in the run game, we played outstanding. We're rushing the quarterback well. What we've got to do a better job is in the passing game. And that's where our full attention is. And it's where it will continue to be. Now, understandably, some people have taken issue with the I'm not here to talk to the fan base.
Well, just look at the basics of the room. So
Yes.
these reporters are there to gather information for us.
Yeah,
To
there are
tell us-
representatives.
They're telling us
Correct.
what's going on. So if nothing else, what you're doing in that room is for the fans.
Correct.
It's exactly what everything that you do is for us.
Right.
You have a job and you're paid because we watch.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Everything you do is for us.
So this was the first time, and I went back and rewatched the whole thing, and there was definitely a build up to this, and I feel like this is something, if you asked him, he would have taken this back 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the case, but the fact that he said it was the first time I was like, "Wow, Staley, like really, like
Yeah.
we have had your back so hard all the way through
Yeah.
this." And I didn't take it like personally, like, "Oh, screw you, fans," not like that at all.
Right.
It was more like, "I'm not here to talk to the fans." Like, what? I don't understand.
How about I understand their frustration and I'm sorry.
See,
How about
that's
one
what
of
I
those
bet.
answers?
I'd imagine
Sure.
that's what he
But
wished
that's
he would have said.
in a situation where
He's not getting
you're
it.
in a quiet room and you're like,
You didn't just lose
let me
to
give a well
Jordan
thought
Love
answer.
and the Packers.
This was I'm wound up. I just told off a reporter that like I'm not. You don't have to keep asking that question because it's going to be the same answer every time.
Yep.
And next question, and was still
Yeah.
pretty wound up when he gave it. So I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not excusing the response,
I don't think he meant it. I think,
and I don't think he meant it in a way that some people are taking it.
Yeah. Well, you're anybody and everyone in our fan base is looking for any reason to not like
Absolutely.
Staley right now.
Dude, it's
gave
hard,
him.
though.
He
Yeah.
gave
It is
him-
hard. It
he
is.
truly gave people that aren't open minded about him the
Yeah.
ammunition they need to never
Oh.
want him to coach for us again.
Yeah.
That just
if
is
you
what
were-
it is.
If you were already on the fire Staley train,
Yeah.
you have now gone.
You just got-
full.
you just got first class.
You just got handed the match.
Yeah.
To your dynamite.
Yeah, insane. I mean, like, dude, like he has to know his situation. Like, and
And he probably does. That's probably on his mind as well.
I'm sure.
This feels like I quit. Like that press conference. I don't know. Like I've had silly little interviews with newspapers and KUSI and like the little like news stuff around San Diego, and you are very intentional about what you say.
Absolutely.
Like he completely gave no craps about his answers in that. Like you said, Adam, like he just, if he could, he probably would take it back, but you can't.
Right.
Now it's out there and it's done.
Right. Yeah. In this day and age, it's been recorded. It's been saved.
No take
and
backs.
there's no take backs. Like
Yeah.
as soon as that gets recorded
Yeah.
and put out on the internet,
That's forever.
it's forever. Sadly. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard.
I feel
to
bad
defend
for the guy,
after
honestly.
this. Yeah.
I feel bad that
Yeah.
he's being put in
Well-
this situation and he's not able to maintain his composure in ways that we've seen him do in the past.
Well, best way to think of it this way: what if you were in that situation? How would you feel?
I would have just been like, not taking any questions today. Goodbye.
You just unbutton your
if you,
shirt.
if you want to, yeah,
Hey, you want to talk
Hey,
about
Popper.
about my
this? Yeah.
Enough about
I don't
that
know.
defense.
Who wants some
guys.
cheese
Come
curds?
on.
if you really don't want to talk, go full Bill Belichick. No, you don't have to. Your point gets across. You're frustrated and you're angry. Give us one-word answers and move on with your day.
Yeah.
Don't blow up and then attack a fan base. That's ridiculous.
It's just interesting that where he started, he was the most articulate coach we've ever had.
Calling reporters by their first name.
Remembering their first name. Yeah. And now he's being selective on whose name he uses. It's if you go back and listen to it, he doesn't always say them, but if he's annoyed with the question or the question asker, he's not saying their first name. So it's just.
So is he saying Mr. Popper? Or is he just
no? He just starts answering the question.
Oh, okay.
So it's we're in this situation, so we just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah,
and we'll see what can happen. What's crazy though is that it's not fully over yet. It feels like it. It really does.
Okay, so now we're in this situation. In what world does he earn his job, keep his job? Yeah, one of those. What could he possibly do to win the fan base back or win? I don't know.
That's like you say, winning cures everything. If you go on a run and you win out and do something in the playoffs, cool. But I think that's his last. It's that golden ticket he needs to get into the Wonka factory.
This is and
that is coaching for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Dude, I mean, it's beginning to look. We look kind of dumb as an organization a little bit because I mean it's on everything. Chris Long on his podcast is calling us out, and that's getting crazy views. You know, it's like
what Rex Ryan said about us.
Rex Ryan told him to go back to D3.
Yeah, like
that's intense. And yeah, he's a personality now, but he was an NFL head football coach. Like he knows what it takes, and it's a tough look to continue on. So I don't know. I think this week is a huge week. We got a really good team on Sunday night on prime time. It's just I just don't know in what world that he keeps his job beyond this year. So I don't know. It's you're stuck. We are
winning.
Stuck.
Hey, dude, you've said it before. Winning cures everything.
Yeah, so if he can win out and go to the AFC Championship, maybe that's the only route.
I think that's the route. So hey, I can root. I can get behind him for that.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Like I gotta. Hey, I'm gonna have some excitement and some fun the rest of this season. I gotta look out for that stuff. I am ready for Sunday night. I want to watch some more Charger football.
Absolutely.
So we gotta find things to get excited about.
I will never not support this team and the players, and I want to win every single game.
Yeah.
Coach Staley's just trying to shoot himself in the foot right now. Hard, it feels like.
Take it away from him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's going to learn from this. I'm sure his agent probably called him and was like, hey, so
we're going to have to release an apology.
Well, I don't even know about that, but just like we're going to go over. Yeah, I know. We're going to go over some basic answering questions.
So we haven't done this yet, but we're gonna do some media training,
flashcards.
Yeah, we're gonna do some media training, just like a refresher course, on how to not insult your entire fan base.
Yeah, which to be fair, I wasn't insulted.
I was by the words written that I saw, but if you go back and actually listen to it, he didn't mean to take a shot at the fans. No. But it's just the way it comes across is like, but you're here for us.
I haven't listened to the whole interview. I don't know how. It doesn't come across that way.
You just need to go listen to it. You need the build up to it.
There's a little more context to base. I think also it has to do with his wording. Like whenever somebody says like, I'm not here to talk to what I did wrong today. I'm not here to talk to the fan base. It's the way that it's worded. Like in that way where you're like, I'm not here to talk to the deficiencies of my situation. I'm here to talk about this or something. Does that make sense?
No, not at all.
It's the language.
So
it's the language. Like, is what I'm saying.
In this interview, I'm not talking about the fan base.
Correct.
I'm like only thing I'm here to do is answer questions about the team and the players.
I'm not here to talk about the fan base. Is what he should have said. It's like not to the fan base. I don't think it's meant to be a directional. Like I'm not here to talk to you guys. I'm here to talk to the problem at hand, which is my fucking team is on fire right now and I need to put it out with some water.
Yeah. I think we can all agree he wants to take it back.
Yeah.
And let's just move on from it. Because if we dwell on that, I can't dwell on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking over at Kris Rhim, We'll hear more from him later on, but he tweeted out a story on Joey Bosa likely heading to IR. We'll miss at least the next 4 games when placed on the list, to be determined if he plays again this season, Chargers coach Brandon Staley said.
Yep,
so it came out what the injury was a
sprained foot. But when he was going off the field, I thought he had ruptured his Achilles tendon.
He was crying, towel over the face, carted off.
And I almost got in a fight with the guy in front of us because he started clapping. But then by the end of the game, we became friends, and he was just being a dum-dum. Yeah, that was not what you want to see.
No.
And
no, now you're down Kris Rhim and Joey Bosa for the next 4 weeks.
Thule, baby.
You got Thule and Khalil Mack. Yeah.
Well, dude, what is Thule going to be? He's the future of our edge.
Yeah.
So go get him, bud.
There's no depth now at all.
No.
At that position.
Well, I think I saw that they added a couple of guys, but not like nobody on a Joey Bosa level for
Too
sure.
bad Kyle Van Noy's not sitting around.
I know he has like 4 sacks in like 6 games.
Tearing it.
Well, we'll see him on Sunday.
I know. Shit.
Kris Rhim also tweeted out Quentin Johnston was pretty upset after the game yesterday, said there was no excuse for his late game drop. I dropped the ball. I'm a receiver. They're drafting me for a reason. That's to catch the ball, and I wasn't able to do that. Keenan Allen also had a career high 3 drops, including 2 in the red zone. Said, I definitely was on bullshit early in the game. 3 drops, 2 of them on the goal line. I just got to be better.
Yep. It's weird game.
Weird game because, even Keenan Allen with those drops had over 100 yards and a touchdown.
I'm sure he had some crazy record up to this point of like no drops.
Yeah.
And that all went out the window.
Yeah.
So
he surpassed his 10,000 yards, his career 10K.
Yeah.
Like he went over 1,000 yards on the season. I'm sorry. He already went over 1,000 yards.
Okay, he had 120, he had 116 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
Still had a great game. It's just
crazy.
Could have been even better if he would have caught some of those balls.
All the Quentin Johnston bust hate, like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
I get it.
real.
Like that was really frustrating.
Yeah.
And that was a really bad spot. I got up and yelled in my living room, and my wife was not happy because I was holding our newborn. So she took that baby away from me. But
give me the baby.
She's like, Kyle, take a deep breath, hand me the baby.
Yeah.
Don't just give me the baby. Put down the baby.
That was incredibly frustrating, especially with the lack of production that he's had on the year.
Absolutely.
Coming off of Mike Williams. I'm on board with that.
Absolutely.
I am not ready to call him a bust, and I don't want to be a part of what is like adding to his anxiety about catching these footballs.
Yeah.
I get it. He's paid a lot of money to do it. I totally understand. He's still a 21-year-old kid that has put a lot on himself, and now everyone's calling him a bust and yelling at him like he's not a bust. Keenan had 3 drops today. Quentin had 1, and that's just it was a bad game. That was a really bad dumb play.
Yeah.
He thought that Justin was going to take off and run. Justin was not going to take off and run. Threw a perfect dime, and he dropped the ball.
Yep.
Sucks, but he's gonna turn it around, and he will be good.
Absolutely. It just he needs more reps. I mean, that's the big thing, I think.
He just needs confidence.
And that
he needs to be confident in himself.
Yeah.
And it will come.
And one more time on the Kris Rhim tweet.
It's the Kris Rhim episode.
It's the Kris Rhim episode. Justin Herbert and Derwin James talked for a while at James Locker after the game. Derwin and I are very close. I feel very comfortable sharing with him anything that we need to talk about, and he feels the same way. So as a competitor, I respect him the most.
Well, they're going to be the captains on this team for the very
foreseeable future.
Yeah. They're going to be the
everyone else might be gone.
They're the mainstays. So I'm glad you guys have a relationship or are going to figure it out. Like if you're not happy with what coach is doing or what's going on, you're the players. You're go do it. Go figure it out.
You take care of it.
Get out of here.
Chip.
We haven't talked about. Boy, sorry. Yeah, to move on.
No, go ahead.
We haven't talked about Justin Herbert spiking the ball and yelling at Will Clapp.
Oh yeah.
Like, was it Clapp or was it Hymas? Pretty sure it was Brendan Hymas.
No,
Clapp was back.
I think it was Clapp.
Clapp went back in for that.
I believe that was a Clapp.
Hymas was only in for like a series or two, and then Clapp was back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he screamed, like he spiked the ball and yelled at him. I've never seen that kind of fire from Justin before. Like that's another like Staley going off in the presser. that was Justin's version of that, but it was on the field.
Yeah.
There's just so much tension right now. It just feels like something's ready to explode.
Agreed. I mean, and you can just see it in the fan base on Twitter that it's very tense. Right now.
Big time.
Well, you can go on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/ChargerChat. Check out all the fun stuff we got going over there. And we got a new name to shout out. I meant to shout this name out last week. I apologize. We're getting it this week. We're getting it right. Scott Rydelski, our newest
welcome to the party
patron over at Patreon. Thank you, buddy, for joining. And if you don't want to go to patreon.com, that's totally fine. You can go on over to our regular website, chargerchat.com. Check out all the cool stuff we got over there, t-shirts, hoodies, and stickers. You can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers in the member section and ask questions and Ask Boltfam. So go check out chargerchat.com. Hey guys, we got to take a second to talk about something here at the Charger Chat podcast that we're really excited about, and that's Bolt's Bids. Bolt's Bids is available through the official Chargers website and the official Chargers app. On the app, scroll about halfway down until you see the Bolt's Bids banner. Say that 5 times fast, and you're going to find all kinds of Chargers memorabilia. Team-issued jerseys, helmets, game-used balls, player-worn gear. What else is there? Players signed gear and much, much more from both current and former players. So make sure to check out Bolt's Bids either on the app or the website to see all the amazing pieces they have that's updated regularly. And you're probably going to want to go there right now because Bolt's Bids has consistent giveaways. You just need to download the official Chargers app, scroll about halfway down until you see the Bolt's Bids banner, then click filters and select giveaways. And if you don't want to use the app, even though that's the easiest and most preferred method, you can also click the link in our description or go to chargers.com/boltsbids and then click filter, offer type, and choose raffle, then hit apply. Now you will want to make sure your account info is filled out and updated with your name, email address, card info, and mailing address because the winner will be auto-selected and notified via the email address they have on your account if you win. And the reason you need your card info in there is because you will have to pay for shipping, but that's an absolute steal for these giveaways. So make sure you go to the app or the link down in the description for your chance to enter. So be sure to go to Bolt's Bids for your Chargers memorabilia and bolt up. I mean, come on, gang. Look at this.
So pretty.
Full-sized helmet.
Yep.
This ain't no mini, folks. This is a full-sized helmet. Giving it away. I don't know how many people are actually listening to us and going to sign up for it, but I don't know why you're not if you haven't.
Yeah.
Because it's a free giveaway. All you're doing is paying for shipping for a freaking Justin Herbert signed full-size helmet.
It's stunning.
It's a killer looking helmet.
Stunning.
It's a stunner.
So please, folks, go on over, check it out, chargers.com/boltsbids, or go onto the app, scroll about halfway down, and get going on this, because if you don't, Kevin's going to take it from your cold, dead hands.
I say it every week. If you don't want to go in on it, that's fine, because it increases my chances.
All right, folks, time to go on to the next segment. It is Bolt Insight with our good friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him a good friend.
I think we're off to a beautiful start.
Did we just become best friends?
Maybe.
Kris Rhim.
Yeah. Let's go, Kris.
As soon as that clock starts, your ass is mine.
When I met Justin Herbert, man, that dude is big as hell.
You know, the goal is to just keep it rolling.
Come in hype because we have a lot of things to be excited about.
All right, guys, we're back with another Bolt Insight, and we are super lucky to have Kris Rhim from ESPN. What is going on, Kris?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for reaching out.
No, absolutely. We're excited to have you. And, we're excited because you give us so much content, these last few weeks since you came on board and started covering the Chargers. Absolutely everything is awesome to get, all that from you. Tell us a little bit about how you, became the beat writer for ESPN for the Chargers.
Yeah, so I graduated. I'm the youngest reporter on ESPN covering an NFL team, and I graduated. I'm 24. I graduated college in 2021 and answered at the Boston Globe, and then I worked. I went to Springfield College in Western Massachusetts, interned at the Boston Globe, and then went to Atlanta and I worked for the team there doing features and like doing some on-camera interviews and stuff like that. And then I went to the New York Times where they have this fellowship program that more like Malik Andrews has done a program, like some other people have gone to do good things. And then after that program, I went to this startup called the Baltimore Banner where I covered the Ravens for really about a month. And then ESPN called me. And then that's when I started when Lindsay left. And so that's how I got here.
That's awesome, man. Well, it seems to be an interesting time to come in and start covering the Chargers. We've had these 2 seasons leading up to this. There's like this excitement where all these players are coming in. everything seems like it's going okay. And this last game against the Packers, man, it just it was kind of crazy. And, a lot of the fans after that game were kind of like lost as what's going on with the team. The energy is kind of weird. So what were your thoughts, being at the game and kind of the energy of the team before the game and after the game?
Yeah, I think going into the game, guys always talk about the next game is the next game and kind of that whole coach speaky kind of those talking points, right? But those guys, they knew, and this is from talking to people in the locker room, right? Those guys knew how important Sunday was, right? There, I think, a bunch of people said, we're good, we're feeling good right now, but we got to win on Sunday. We got to win that game. And you look at it, and it's a game on paper that you would think that they would win, even on the road. It feels like one of those games that not to mention you had to have it because of the the record and the division, but just on paper, this is a struggling team that you would think this team should beat up on if they're where everyone expects them to be, but they didn't. And I think after the mood in the locker room was, at least to me, as dejected as I've seen it, and I'm sure as you saw in the post-game presser, Brandon Staley was as frustrated as I've seen him. I think as he's been over the past 3 years, and it felt like a low point for the team. And again, Brandon has press conference today and saying things about turning it around, and as the week goes on, guys will say similar. But that definitely felt like it felt like a loss that hit this team in a different way than the others did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely tough in terms of where we are in the season, but we're not mathematically out. There's still absolutely a chance with how everything is going in the AFC. So, when you're in the locker room, and we saw a tweet you posted about, Justin and Derwin talking to each other. Those are absolutely our team captains for offense and defense. Kind of, what do you see? Do you think this team has what it takes to kind of kick it into gear and do something? And what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, like everyone else, this team has the players, in my opinion, to do that. I think they have, guys at all the positions you think about that they have names, and they have names who play to their level. Sometimes they're not consistent always, but I think they have names who play to their level, and they're not, I like to think about this way, and this is kind of a dumb way to think about it maybe, but if I was playing Madden, right, the Chargers would be one of the teams that I want to use, right? If I get the Chargers on 3 randoms, I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at this team, right? So in my head, I always think they can, if there's a team that could turn it on, and their talent can take them there, it is this team. If I would, guess, right? And they did it. We saw them do it last year, so they've done it before. So in my mind, it's, why wouldn't they be able to do it again? But also at the same time, they've also shown us why they might not be able to do it again. And that comes down to the defensive lapses, there's late game turnovers, there's drops, there's every time you need to make a play, they haven't made it. And that's what Keenan said last game, and looking at, you just said, Keenan Allen about what's going wrong. He just said, whenever we need to make a play, we're not making the play. And until they prove that they can make that play, or they can be on the other side of these one-score games, it's hard to imagine that they could turn it around, even with the talent, because of what we've seen through 10 games.
Yeah, for sure. And there's definitely the press conference stuff with Staley. We he came in very much like a very nice guy, first name basis with everybody, and he's been like that throughout the season. But it's just each week it gets a little ramp, cranked up, a little more cranked up. And, you had an article you posted about, the hot seat level and kind of what the thoughts are around the league. So what are your thoughts kind of where we are with our coach in terms of that, and even Tom Telesco?
Yeah, I mean, for me, as I wrote in the story, I mean, I think anyone from the outside looking in would say, their seats were hot, and hot might be an understatement coming into the year. And as I wrote in the article, I think after Sunday, boiling is an understatement in terms of where their seats are and where their job placement is. I mean, with the talent that this team has, like I've said before, you would imagine that they would be better than what they are. And when you have a historic playoff meltdown, and in 3 years, You have this guy who's known for his defensive, prowess, who's coached one of the league's worst, ranked in a bunch of different categories, the league's worst defense. And they continue to have kind of these similar issues each year of being, his team has a really good offense, the defense gives up a lot of points, and they can't, win these 1-score games. And then there's these penalties on third down and consistently giving up third and long, 3rd and 10 plus. So with Tom Telesco, I mean, you look, he's been around for, a decade now. And, when this is his third coach, and, there's not a lot of GMs who get 4 coaches. And, I think if you do look at it from the ownership perspective, you could say, Tom has built the roster that Brandon liked, right? That was ideal for Brandon. It's a lot of players that he's had before, a lot of stars, kind of giving him a lot of the players that you would think that he wanted and got, and it just hasn't worked out. So maybe there's a world where one of them stays, and if it's one, it would seem like it would be Tom because he's been there for so long, but it would be his 4th coach. So yeah, for both of them, I think their seats are pretty hot, as I wrote, on that ESPN.com article.
Well, and this is a awesome week because we have Thanksgiving, and we're our theme of this episode has been, what are we thankful for? What do you think, like, as Charger fans, when you look at this team, what is like one of the big things we should be thankful for, even where we are right now in the year? What do you think we should be thankful for?
Should be thankful for a lot of stuff, man. I think at the top of it, I think it's, Keenan. I think it's Keenan for sure, man. Like, Keenan's in year 11 and he's
going off. Yeah.
I mean, he had those drops, but man, he's balling, and I think he's it's good to, I think when you have a team like the Chargers where, it's, people always talk about the Chargers for one, not having fans, and then they moved from San Diego to Los Angeles. But there's this guy who's just always been there, right? Through everything. He moved, he stayed here. Maybe he could have left, or went to other places, but he's just been here and he's been consistent. He's just like always there, right?
Yeah.
and he's always doing his thing. He's never, he doesn't throw anybody on the bus. So I think if I was a fan, that's what I would say to be thankful for. And if you want me to pick somebody on the other side of the ball, I'd say maybe Thule, because you look at the draft, and if you're looking at the picks, you could say confidently right now, that's a big hit, right? Like he's a guy, he's going to be a guy for a while, and also seems to go about things the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't leave out number 10. That guy will give us a chance in whatever game we play in, and it's just we're still, it's like that hard thing because we're like, God, we were just so excited about this team, and something can happen. We just need it to turn around. Like, there's no time to wait. It's like, you guys better get on it now against Baltimore. So what are your thoughts on this upcoming game against Baltimore? Obviously, they've played very well all year, and kind of their strengths can probably be an issue for where we are on defense, at least a little bit. So what are your thoughts on this upcoming game?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously covered the Ravens, so I was there all training camp and through the first week. And so I'm really familiar with this team. It's kind of like a crossover episode for me with something like that. But I think, man, it's, again, on paper, the Chargers should be able to go right with this team, right, on paper. But from what we've seen, it would tell you otherwise. But it's hard. Every game the Chargers go into, I think they have a chance. And that's proven in these 5 one-score losses, right? So I would never say just because they're seeding and where they're at, the Chargers will get blown out. I think it's going to be a close game again, and it's going to come down to who's going to make that play, right? Lamar Jackson. I don't know his specific turnover number, but you saw against the Browns there were a few turnovers late that they lost the game in after starting out early, right? Can the defense make him uncomfortable? A hard dude to make uncomfortable, but this will likely be the off the top of my head, the best defense they played this season, and it'll be or at least one of the best maybe, and it could be a matchup of one of the league's best defenses and one of the league's worst defenses, right? If you look at least pass defense for the Chargers, they've had one bad rushing game, but yeah, so I think again, man, it's all about for this team. Whenever people ask me, even going into the Bears game or the Jets game, I always said, it'll be close. It wasn't close in those games, but I always think with the Chargers, it's going to be close. They're going to have a shot to win it. It's just, can the plays be made, right? And that's been the story of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully one day we can actually beat some teams significantly every week and not be these one-score games, because it's getting a little too much for my heart. I don't know if I can handle much more of this. But thank you, Kris. Thank you so much for your time, man. It was such a pleasure having you on. And if you're not following Kris, you are missing out. And please tell everyone where they can go and follow you on social media.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, man. And you can follow me at Kris Rhim 1 on Twitter. It's just KrisRhim 1. And I'm on Threads at the same thing, just Kris Rhim, no 1. And it's where you can find me, Threads and Twitter or X. That's where I'm at.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again for your time and all the insight. It's really great for us fans, and have an awesome night. And hopefully you can have a cheerier, happier locker room after the next game.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
What a nice guy.
He's awesome.
I like him a lot.
That's awesome.
Great perspective, great insight, and he definitely, good week for him because he knows a lot about the Ravens. So
yeah,
he I'm sure he's got a plethora of things we could have asked. I didn't even think about it, but great guy. I'm glad he's covering our team though.
Big time. Sorry, Kris, I would have dressed better for the occasion.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I didn't know we were having such great company coming over, but thank you so much for coming on and chatting with Kev. That means a lot to us to get somebody of that caliber to come and hang with us. That's really cool.
Fingers crossed, we'll try and get him on again.
Please. That's all we ask. All right, folks. Well, it's time to go on to the next segment. Ask Boltfam. A lot of questions. What are we waiting for?
A lot of feelings.
A lot of feels. Let's do it.
Let's get into them.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys. Go jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do. I wet myself in excitement.
Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
That's right, folks. Time for Ask Boltfam, and we start off at the top with Bolt Up 10. And actually, let me preface this. Let me start this off. If you've not been a part of Ask Boltfam, which there are some new names in here for sure. If I don't ask your question, sometimes I'll do shout outs because we have a lot of questions that kind of fall into the same
I think this
vein.
might have been the most amount of questions we've received ever.
I didn't count every individual question, but this is probably one of the longest Ask Boltfams that we're going to have.
Yeah, we had over 60 original questions between all the stuff. So there's just physically no way we can get to everyone.
Yeah.
But we thank you everyone for taking the time to message us.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we 100% appreciate it. And we start off with Bolt Up 10, and shout out to Jenny Bailey. But going with Bolt Up 10, who asked the question. Thank you guys for repping the Powder Blues and Lambeau. It was fun watching your Instagram live stories. I could see on TV there were a good amount of Charger fans there. Were Packer fans nice and welcoming? What was the atmosphere like? And would you go back again?
I think this is certified fresh. I'm not seeing Bolt Up _10.
There's a lot of certified fresh, so that would not surprise me.
This feels fresh. Welcome.
But to answer your question, there was a lot of powder blue.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
We saw Rudy. There's a whole bunch of old school fans that were there. That was so cool to see. And we saw Aaron, who was wearing shorts and a tank top.
Forgot to mention we saw Adam.
Yeah, we saw Adam too. The other Adam.
The other Adam that
they went face to face.
Went with the Brisket Broads to Minnesota and hung out with them. Super cool guy.
Did you guys sing a duet?
No, but we kind of had a bit.
Did it? Nice.
Where it was just like, oh, it's Adam. Hey, it's Adam. Hey, it's Adam. Hey, it's Adam. Like we just kind of kept repeating that back and forth to each other.
Nice.
Knuckleheads.
But it was amazing. We met so many freaking people and hung out with so many. It was just
everybody that came up and said hey to us. Thank you guys so much for doing that. It really means a lot. It lets us know that somebody's listening to this thing.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of going to I would absolutely go there again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had 90% amazing interactions.
Yeah.
Especially with the older Packer fans that were in their 70s and above, the nicest freaking guys I've ever met in my life. So I highly recommend it. In 8 years.
Yeah, we got our stretch going. We'll be 50 years without
perfect
Lambeau. So
yeah, that streak's alive.
Streak's alive.
And well. So yeah. So in 8 years we'll try and win in Lambeau.
Yeah. I will say, I think the nicest ones were when we were waiting in line to get a bag of nuts.
Yeah.
We were waiting in line, and it was it was just a man and a woman. They got nuts before us, and the Brisket Brothers were trying to figure out which nuts they wanted to get, because you can get either specifically one type of nut or a mixed bag of nuts.
These nuts.
And they couldn't figure out what they wanted. Yeah, mixed bag would be the way to go.
And they just opened theirs up.
And they were just like, oh,
here,
go ahead and try some if you haven't tried them before.
Like that was
and didn't just give it to them, gave it to all of us.
It was the
to
vibe.
Try their nuts.
It was the vibe.
So it was really just a very sweet moment from an opposing fan.
Yeah.
Somebody that has no skin in the game to be
I
like,
can't say I've gotten any nuts from Chiefs fans.
No, I haven't gotten anything other than scowls and hateful remarks from Chiefs fans. So
why are they so angry? They win all the time.
I don't know.
No.
But Packer fans are cool. So
Packer fans are super cool.
Thank you for hosting us. And the ones that sucked, evaluate yourself, because there's so many cool versions of you guys up there.
They're everywhere. It doesn't matter. There's crappy people no matter where you go.
Yes,
pretty much.
It's cool that most of them were good. And your wife's a Packer fan, so they have to be good.
They have to be.
She
wouldn't stand for it.
Incredibly cool that whole trip.
Yes.
Like I stopped making jokes about an hour and a half in once we got to the stadium, because like she just was not doing anything. If she was awesome, I felt bad. I was like, all right, I'm stopped making jokes now.
Yeah.
So my wife, the Packer fan,
she knows that you can't take it.
Yeah, I know.
If she started dishing them back, you'd be crying in the bathroom watching the game.
So I will give you
so confident that Josie could make you cry with her words.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing in this world I'm more confident of.
Has.
Yeah, she could do it anytime she wanted.
Yeah.
So Thanos, you to cry.
I will give you a pinch of a story from the end of the game that sucked, because Josie was sitting next to these three girls that were the worst that I mentioned earlier, and it came up that we had a podcast. And as they were leaving, I was just kind of sitting there minding my own business, and one of the really annoying girls was like, "What's up with him? Oh, he's trying to figure out what he's going to say on his podcast. That's going to suck. He sucks." I was like, and I know what I was going to say. I was going to tell everyone about you, and I wish I knew your first and last name, because you suck ass.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were bitches. I'll say it.
They were bitches. Yeah.
So, all right.
Kevin always almost gets in fights.
But I didn't say anything to them. I was like making jokes with them and being really nice the whole game.
No.
I was great to everyone.
A couple of years ago at SoFi, you almost got in a fight with some girls. Dad had to break it up.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Do we want to rehash that story? But you can ask Adam. Let's stay in the present, Kyle. Let's stay in the now.
No, they
I was
really
amazingly nice to everyone around me.
I'm picking up on trends.
No, they were really rude.
Yeah.
They were very happy for their team, but they were just extremely they were out of touch with reading the room. Like, read the room, ladies. Like, we are trying to.
We're not here to be sarcastic with
no,
you.
And we're minding our own business.
I'm literally sitting down.
Leave us alone.
Hold on, please give me a minute to myself.
Yeah. So, all right.
It's okay.
That was honestly like really the only bad fan interaction.
Yep.
Everybody else was.
But it's so funny. Just think about the negativity. We always talk about shamelessly positive podcast. One negative thing like that squashes the 100 positive things you have. I just you need to think about that when somebody gets you down. Think about all the other things that were positive. And that's the most important thing.
Something to be thankful for.
Exactly.
This holiday season.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, Bolt Up 10 and Jenny Bailey, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now. I don't, guys.
It's going to be a 3-hour
That was about a 15-minute
Yeah.
Jeez. Let's move it on now to Bull Moose, who asks the question.
Is looking critically at the team and their weaknesses being a negative fan, or just understanding reality of how bad Staley's defense is after 3 years?
Hot topic here.
Yeah.
Critical.
It's a very hot topic, and
realistic versus head in the sand.
There's a lot of fans interacting with each other, specifically on social media, in regards to either being you're either super positive or you're super negative, and there's no differentiating between the two.
And if you're not what I am,
then to hell with you.
Yeah.
And that's not it. Bottom line, folks, we got to remember we're all on the same side. We're all on the same team.
Yeah.
Let everybody fan how they want to fan. If you are one of the positive people, let the negative people be negative. Just mind their own business. And if you're one of the negative people and you see somebody having a good time, let them have a good time. Let them be positive.
Don't poop
just
on
be kind to each other. That's all we really should be trying to do, is to be kind to one another.
But you don't know how long I've been a fan, Adam.
Oh, I've been a fan at least 10 times longer than you have, so you don't even know what you're talking about.
That's why you don't get it.
It's the thing where it's like, be your own fan. Don't tell somebody else how to fan, and that goes both ways.
Absolutely.
When you're being when somebody posts something and you come at them with a negative thing, you're basically telling them what to do and how to fan and how they're wrong.
Right.
So just like have your own thing. You can fan however the hell you want. It's okay. Like
treat it like a show that you come across on TV and you're like, I don't like that show. Let me change the channel.
Click. Good thing we have like 500 channels and
to answer the question, being critical is not always being negative.
No, not at all.
If you're going to go and watch the game and critique it, that's fine. Like that's what coaches do to the game every single week. That's not to say that they're being negative and you suck and you're never going to get better and I give up on you.
Yeah.
You can be critical and not be negative. I think it's hard to do though.
Yeah.
A lot of people that want to be critical are trying to be negative.
I think so. Yeah.
So that's just kind of where it leads most of the time.
Right. So Bull Moose, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Charger Fan, who asked the question.
I'm not sure if I can defend Staley anymore. I've been trying every single week, but I truly have never seen a defense more lost in crucial moments. Herbert's voice and expressions during his post-game interview showed me he's hurting. Where do we go from here, gents?
I think this is certified fresh. Charger Fan. I feel like we've had Charger Fan on, but the handle I don't recognize in my database.
It's not in your database,
It's not
sir?
in my database.
If you're new here,
Cross-check the references.
if you're new here, Kevin is terrible at knowing if you're
Kevin felt so confident going into this
I'm 100% right about 50% of the time.
Yeah. Now he's just swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
You need to keep defending yourself.
Dude.
Just throw out the certified freshes. If we're wrong,
I'm like how we look at this team. Low expectations. Don't expect a lot of me, okay?
Hey, but you're confident in what you're doing.
I'm confident in what I'm doing.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Don't change nothing.
Yeah. This is a weird. I was talking to Adam about this earlier. This is a weird time because there is a lot to look forward to. One, we could still make it to the playoffs. That's one.
There's still a chance.
Two, we could get a new coach that is crazy and awesome.
Yes.
Three, could get a new general manager that's crazy and awesome. Like there's a crazy fork in the road right now.
Buffet.
Yeah.
Ahead of this, right behind this Baltimore game, there is a giant fork in the road.
Yeah.
And it goes a lot of different ways. So in terms of just like the entertainment of like what's going to happen to my team, as long as you're confident in your fandom and you know you're not going anywhere, this is, we're going to have something new.
There's
something's going to happen.
This could be an implode and start from the Justin Herbert ground up type of situation in the offseason.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't know.
Or we start winning.
But it's still exciting every single time.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the most positive way I can think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Justin Herbert. So
it's all that matters right now.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right.
He is going to will and get angry and be awesome. And the angrier he gets, the higher his PFF grade goes. So get angry.
Proven fact.
It is.
All right. Charger Fan, thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to DJ Jones, and shout out to Marco Dallio. Going with DJ Jones, who asked the question. Hey, y'all, slap me on the penny and call me Abraham because me and my love for Staley are not Lincoln. In this loss at QJ and even Keenan struggled at times to have a good game, but my question is, what is it and why do you guys think Staley is struggling so bad? Okay, love you, bye.
Well, based on his post-game interview, I think he's struggling because he's not willing to change anything. He is so confident in his system that it doesn't sound like he's adjusting anything. So you're going to continue to get the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So it feels like the reason that it's not connecting and we keep having the same mistakes and we have blown coverage and guys are wide open is because we're not changing anything. So it's like, how can you expect something different when you're putting in the same input over and over and over?
Yep.
It's just, for me, it's the secondary and the fact that we're really good against the run, which is the full opposite of what we were last year.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so confusing is that last year we had such great plays in the secondary, and really the only thing that changed was the loss of Nasir Adderley, who retired.
And he wasn't even that effective or played much last year, so that's really not much.
If it's just teams can do whatever they want against us.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. Dude, this year they're just choosing to throw the ball. And if you can throw the ball that effective, why would you run the ball?
When you have
Last
Jordan,
year, they ran the ball so well, every team against us. They're like, why am I going to throw if I can run for 250 yards?
Right.
It just feels like they changed what they want this year out of attacking our defense.
When Jordan Love throws 40 times and he's like almost at a 50% passer rating or a completion percentage, you know that team's just like, throw it up. Eventually, one of these coverages is going to fall apart and you're going to get a touchdown.
Right.
Or you'll
and
get
that's
a PI
what they did.
on 3rd and
or
20
a PI.
and get a first down.
That's exactly what they did to us because it just feels like undisciplined, not being in the right place, running around with their heads cut off secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you fix that in 1 week unless there's new players out there.
We'll find out
Only time will tell.
on Sunday. But DJ Jones and Marco Dallio, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Leo Bolts, who asked the question. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. Staley's defense tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have the Bolts become? My sweetest friend. Everyone we play goes and wins in the end. And you could have it all. My empire of dirt. My Bolts will let you down. They will make you hurt.
Don't hurt yourself
today.
The season's not at the end.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm good. Johnny Cash devolves into Mr. Mackey.
Mr. Mackey. Johnny Mackey.
Yeah. I mean, what have they become? They've become inconsistent and always still a chance, but not winning. So
yeah, always close. Like we have every game is 3 or less. Except for
that's
one.
our identity right now. Always in it until we're not.
Never a cigar. Close, but never a cigar.
Yes. But thank you, Leo Bolts, for the great lyrics.
Yeah, very nice.
Appreciate that. Let's move on now to Swamp Boss, who asked the question.
Do you think Staley is trying to cover up certain players' deficiencies on defense? Samuel and Davis can't tackle. K9 terrible in shedding blocks and coverage. Low he lacks speed and size by playing soft quarter, zone, and scheme. I think we need to assess this.
I don't know. I saw one play where K9 was so out of position and then kind of like blocked a Davis on that
that was a touchdown. That was the go ahead touchdown.
Just like, what is going on, man? Like,
yeah, I don't know how. I don't know. It doesn't feel like he's covering up any deficiencies. It feels like he's.
It feels like they're proudly on
no
display.
matter what he has.
Yeah, he's just running what he runs, and they're being like their deficiencies are being shown.
And Kyle, sometimes. Like, quick question: when we're 3rd and 1 and our corners are 8 yards off the line, why do you do that?
Well, the only thing I can think of is that you have underneath coverage somewhere. Like you're gonna have a linebacker or like an outside backer or somebody jump out into coverage underneath to you're trying to bait him into the underneath throw, and you're trying to like hide someone to jump out in front of it to pick it off. The only thing I can think of, because if you're definitely not in man. If you're 8 yards off the ball and 3rd and 1, you're not in man. So you're just trying to avoid them taking the deep shot, which is what we always do.
And it's tough if you look at personnel. Like K9 and Kendricks are not necessarily that great in coverage this year. That's where
our defense has Khalil Mack and Thule dropping in coverage.
I saw Thule run with a wide receiver down the field. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, Bosa did that too.
That's what our defense. That's what our defense does. I was excited about the 3-4 switch when Staley came because I'm like, oh yeah, you can be more dynamic and you can have these guys do this stuff every once in a while, and maybe you trick someone. We don't trick anyone.
No.
It feels like the offensive play caller knows where our guy is going to, they know how to put us in bad positions where they can just force Khalil to drop every time they want. They're like, oh, okay, you're running this coverage. Okay, motion over there. Now you have trips. Now Khalil has to drop. Haha. Like
he's not rushing anymore.
Yeah. So instead of it being like, this cool dynamic change, it's almost like now the OCs have more opportunity to like
get creative,
outflank us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little bit frustrating from that perspective as well.
Yeah, it is frustrating. Swamp Boss, thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to Donald Rickert,
Certified Fresh,
who asked the question. How do we interpret the fact that Fangio, Staley's mentor, was a terrible head coach with Denver, but Denver's defense always played lights out when the Chargers cannot get out of their own way defensively? Well,
wish I had an answer, but comparing these two is very different. Like Fangio had been a defensive coordinator for a very, very long time, and Staley not so much.
Staley rose up the ranks very quickly,
and I don't know if it fully you can compare the two.
Yeah,
it's the same scheme, but very different play calling, and it's not working.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to interpret it, honestly. Okay.
Kyle, you were typing. I thought you were like looking something up.
Sorry, I got nothing. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Fangio's good and Staley sucks. I'm sorry. I don't know.
There's no correlation.
Nope.
Donald Rickert, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Ian Alexander, and shout out to Forever Bolts, Jeremy, and Jers Fanatic.
That's Certified Fresh. And so is Ian Alexander.
Okay. Who asked the question?
Or at least your @ is.
When does QJ learn to catch? Is it coaching? Confidence? What is it? This was directed to Coach, by the way. Thanks, gents.
Kyle, when's it going to happen?
Yeah, it's not coaching. Like you're in the NFL. What are you going to say? Get on the jugs machine? Like the guy knows he's out there trying. So
right.
I truly believe it's just a confidence thing. We just assume that these young, I feel I'm old now. I'm older than everyone in the NFL pretty much, except
that
for
a couple real old,
a couple quarterbacks. There's only a couple quarterbacks out there that are older than me. So these young men, like you just think that they're robots. Like Quentin Johnston grew up watching the NFL. That's like the peak, the best guys in the world. Like they're heroes. Now he's one of them. Maybe he's just still figuring out, like, do I belong here? And like, he just doesn't have the confidence. He's not that cocky guy that's like, yeah, I'm the greatest. Who's the best player in the NFL? Me. Maybe that's not the way he's built. And he needs a little bit of time to be like, you know what? I do belong here. I'm good enough to play in the NFL and I'm going to go out and do it. So
right.
I really just think it's a confidence thing that it's going to take the season for him to figure it out that he belongs.
Yeah.
And like people like adding him and taking shots at him, like you're not going to help the situation at all by doing that.
Stop being an idiot.
So if you want him to get better, don't
get in his head.
Do you thrive better at your job when somebody's giving you shit all day long?
Yeah, you suck. I'm writing you up.
You suck.
Yeah. I know.
Do better.
I know. You brought me in to do this and I didn't do it right.
Yeah.
So just lay it off a little bit. If you want, you can say whatever you want, but just don't add him. You don't need to tag him in shit. That's ridiculous.
All right. Ian Alexander, Forever Bolts, Jeremy, and Jers Fanatic, thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to CD, and shout out Jeremy S., who asked the question. In an alternate universe, you guys are shamelessly negative. So let's hear how that would go about Staley or the team or whatever you want. This is your hall pass.
I quit. I'm a Raider fan now.
Ew.
That's what it would be. Who wants that? I quit. This sucks. You guys all suck. I hate you all. What a lame podcast. Anybody want to listen to that?
I mean, yeah, this is not. I'm not putting on an act.
I gave my frustration at the beginning of the pod. Like,
sure,
there's nothing changing. I'm still excited to watch Chargers Sunday night. Hopefully they fix it, and then I can celebrate and have a great Monday morning. That's
we're not faking it. Like, we're not. It's not like a hall pass that we need so that we can be our true selves.
Finally, I can let everybody know we pigeonholed ourselves as shamelessly positive, and now we got to ride this out until the wheels fall off.
We made this shitty bed and we're sleeping in it.
Yeah,
it's just how I prefer. Now, in the moment during the game, I do get very frustrated sometimes.
Yes,
but then the other 6 days of the week, I have to be able to push that frustration aside and look forward to what's good and what could happen and where we're headed and the players that I love.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thankful for from the Chargers right now, Kyle?
I'm thankful for our fan base, like us getting to go. Not me, well, me on a Bolt, but like being able to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and have like friends that you get to hang out with. And it's just so cool. I don't know. It's not something that you can find anything outside of sports. Like there's only a couple places where you can find true community. And I think that's what's so awesome about sports and why people get lost in sports is it gives you something bigger, and like to be able to do it, come alongside other people and have a unified, this is what we're going towards.
Right.
So to be like, when you come together and then you're just whiny and like, this sucks, our team sucks. Like, okay, then stop. You know, like this isn't helping you at all.
It's probably not good for you.
Your life.
Yeah, it can't be healthy.
Yeah.
Says the fat guy with his open shirt.
This can't be healthy.
Sweating.
You should really.
This can't be healthy.
Yeah. So that's just us, guys.
Yeah.
Like it or not.
I think we had like 3 or 4 people be like, all right, you guys can finally do it. Floodgates are open. You can be negative now if you want. Like, I don't know how to do that right now.
Yeah. It's not my boat.
Yeah.
But CD and Jeremy S., thank you guys for asking the question. Appreciate you. Let's move it on now to Anthony Francis, who asked the question.
Do you think Brandon Staley's ego of being labeled as a defensive guru is getting in the way of him handing over the reins to Ansley for now?
Certified fresh.
Yeah.
Welcome, Anthony.
I don't know if him necessarily being labeled as a defensive guru is getting in the way, but it definitely feels like a pride of some kind that is holding him back. Or I don't know, like
it's like a doubling down almost.
It's a doubling down, and I don't know if he feels like I'm going to lose the confidence of this team if I hand over the reins to somebody else, like if I'm going to lose some belief from my players. I mean, I don't know if that's a possibility.
Well, and you got to remember, he's like a pretty new coach. So he came in, the thing he did well, that's what he wants to embrace and show. And it's got to be an incredible source of frustration that he came in as that, and he's not even close to doing that.
Right.
And no matter what he says, I don't care if your defense is good at stopping the run, but you suck at the pass. That's a bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 4-6.
You're 4-6.
Right.
31st in the league in yards allowed per game. You are the problem.
Yeah.
Stop joking. Like, stop lying to yourself. You are the issue.
And
you shouldn't give up that many points to Green Bay. You know,
right?
No. And I get that he's defending his players. Like, you can respect him for that.
But did he throw all the offensive players under the bus at the same time?
No, but he did. Like, the big blow up was when he was defending Q. Like, get over it. Like, you know. So I see positives, but then there are some glaring issues.
When he was defending his defense, he was like, the defense is not why we lost this game.
Kind of feels a little biased. I think you're
good. Eckler, he's like, Austin fumbled the ball inside. We had big drops by Keenan and Quentin. Like, he went and threw them all under the bus pretty hard.
Yeah. But it did at least ultimately say that it is my fault. I take full responsibility for it.
After name dropping everyone.
And not saying that his defense is playing well. Like, no, it's not. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to watch football, but that didn't look like well to me. Sorry.
But yeah, no, it definitely feels like they're should be a
I think his
change.
ego's in the way, yeah.
And there is an ego in the way for sure, but I don't know if it's necessarily from him being labeled as one.
And ego's just not always a bad thing either.
No.
If you use it right, and it doesn't seem like he's using it right now.
So, Anthony Francis, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Farnsey.
Nice.
Who asked the question?
I honestly have no words. I've tried to defend our coach over and over again. Until now, the quality of the defense is now undefendable. I'm sorry, Coach Staley, but you got to swallow your pride and let it go. Still trying to stay the bolted up. Actually, it. I am still bolted the up. KW boy, Farnsey.
This encapsulates how I feel most of the time. Like,
Yes.
God dang it, but I'm still in.
Yes.
You know?
I'm down, but I'm not out.
Not out yet.
Yeah.
It's not over till it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
just watched the.
I don't hear no bell.
I just watched the Yogi Berra documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of his.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yogi-isms.
Yeah.
So good.
Love that. So we feel you, Farnsey, but thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Adam Mundorf, and shout out to Jurors Fanatic again.
That's Adam.
It's Adam.
Oh, is that Art? Oh, it's Adam.
I'm
Yeah,
Adam.
I'm Adam.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Look at
Adam.
this guy. It's Adam.
What are you talking about? That's Adam.
All right. Well, let's see what his question is.
Let's go.
I was never a huge Staley hater. I wanted things to work out, but now seemingly that won't be the case. At what point is it negligent to not elevate Kellen Moore to an interim head coach and try it out if we ultimately will probably move on from Staley after this year? Unless the Spanos have already talked to Harbaugh or Bill and know their next move, I assume Kellen Moore will get head coach interviews. Why not see what he does with full power?
And he's actually certified fresh. This is his first question.
That's true. That's why I'm so
welcome, Adam.
surprised. Yes,
The Adams
welcome.
are come together.
Yes. All right.
This is that fork I was telling you about. I forgot about this little part.
There's
of the
another fork.
There's another part of the
This
fork.
is a big fork.
That after this game, that is an alternate fork universe where he could go down that way, and you could have Kellen Moore for a season. I don't see what's wrong with it. Like, if it gets to that point where we're out of the playoffs and we're done,
right?
Go for it. See what he could be.
Right.
You also get a look at your defense coordinator. Can he call plays? Derek Ansley, like, give him a shot. Let him.
Very true.
See what like. Who's to say that Derek Ansley's not a head coach? I don't know. Like, from what I've seen in his interviews, he has the best like pulse of the team, what they need, like encouragement kind of guy. I don't know. I just want something drastically different in a next head coach. I completely agree. I think if we lose to the Ravens on Sunday night,
it's pretty much done. Like,
it's over. Yeah. Like, our chances of the playoffs are slim to none.
Right.
We haven't beat a good team in 2 years.
And we're going to go win five straight, or 6 straight.
Yeah. So I think if Sunday doesn't go the way that we all want it to go, I think you do exactly this. You give Kellen Moore an opportunity to be the interim head coach. You give Derek Ansley control of calling the plays, and you see what it looks like. Now, what can they really change? I don't know. Interim head coach is kind of a crap spot because you don't get to bring in your own assistants. You don't really have your own schedule. Everything is pretty much done. But at least you can kind of get a feel in the locker room of how guys will receive it. So
true.
I don't see why you wouldn't. If the playoffs are out of sight, you know Staley's not going to be the guy. Don't drag it on.
But it's not over yet.
It ain't over yet.
Still beat the Ravens.
No fat lady singing yet.
Dude,
no.
Imagine the fan base if we take a big dub from the Ravens on Sunday night.
That would be
prime
so
time.
dope.
Throw for 400 yards, hold them to minimal offense. Come on. We'll all be back in this thing.
Hell yeah.
Go win a Super Bowl.
Hey, anything's possible
Look
at
at
that
us.
point. Well, I'm Adam Mundorf, and Gers Fanatic, thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to S-Dub, and shout out to Ben and Bolt Boy.
Certified fresh.
Who asked the question?
Bolt Boy's a good name.
Why haven't they fired Staley yet? I want to know.
It's amazing how just losing to the Packers the way we did is really just rattled the fan base as aggressively as it has.
Dude, we talked about it in great length. It was his interview. You'd lose to the Packers, but then you come and say, I'm not talking to the fans. Now, whether he meant about the fans or actually to the fans, either way, it came across very bad.
Yes.
And not willing to do the digging to find out his true intentions. He's already on the hot seat, as discussed earlier. It's more of like a melting seat as it is right now. He's kind of put himself into a crappy hot.
Can I recommend something for him? Maybe throw in one of those CBD gummies before you go out and do your press conference. Dude, it would make him really exciting, interesting energy.
It's legal.
It's legal.
What are they going to do? Test him for performance enhancing?
Yeah. No one would believe it.
Like a stunt double. We're in Hollywood. Just get
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get somebody to fill in.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Come on. There's talent agents out
Find
there.
Somebody.
Yeah. And now
Kevin
playing Brandon Staley, Johnny Depp.
He could do anything.
Oh, that would be so funny.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Brandon, are you listening? All right. Yeah. And as far as firing him yet, it begs the question of like, if they still have a chance, do you stick with the head coach? Do you change it before there is no chance?
I think it's getting to the point where some fans think that even if there is a chance at the playoffs, he's not our best shot at getting there.
Sure. Yeah. And that's understandable.
Yeah.
So, and you also need to look at the organization. They haven't done that. They usually write the coach out, whatever contract, because he's still got another year on his contract.
Technically.
So they don't really get rid of coaches before their contracts are up.
Right.
So hopefully the move to LA has shooken things up and they're worth a lot more money now and they can spend some more money, but they've never been the team that did that, the organization that did that.
So we will find out if that changes in any time.
Sean Payton looks pretty good right now, boys. Just saying.
It took him 4 or 5 weeks and he can't,
He changed everything. They're 5-5. They just beat the Bills, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And who did they just beat on Sunday? Can't remember.
Somebody. I don't know. I was in a dark place on the back of a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have 3 good ones in a row.
Staring out at farms and cows and shit.
Literal shit.
Literal shit.
S-Dub, Ben, and Bolt Boy, thank you guys for asking the question. Moving on now to Jacob McKinney. Shout out to Dan Carter and Friar Bolt.
Nice.
Who asked the question. Hey, Ask Boltfam. I know what we're all thinking with these questions. The elephant in the room. Fire Brandon Staley crap. But why does this happen to us Charger fans over and over again? Are the Chargers cursed? Chargers have always had bad coaching. Something has to change. Well,
we've had a couple of good coaches.
I was going to say, we've had a couple good ones.
We've been to a Super Bowl and we went 14-2.
But it's been a while.
It's not consistent. It's not consistent. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Since Marty shot, Norv was okay. I wouldn't say that Norv was a terrible
I enjoyed a
coach.
couple seasons with Norv.
I remember everyone hating Norv so much on top.
At the end,
like the last 2 years was like, get him out of here now.
I mean, that's what almost every coach would have. They get hated.
That's why you get fired.
Yeah.
But ever since, however you feel about Norv, we'll go back for Kevin's sake. Since Marty Schottenheimer, we have not had a exciting, successful coach.
Right.
And who hires coaches, our GM is not doing that. It's our ownership. Right. And so they've just picked a lot of really big duds.
Yep.
And sucks. And are we cursed? Maybe. So if you have a way to reverse that curse, all ears. I will get in on it. We will be a part of whatever seance or shoebox fires or whatever we got to do. I'll do it.
Honestly, like the one coach that if we brought in, I think would shake our shit up so much that it would like literally might crack on the inside. Won't shake that shit out. Would be Belichick.
It's like a baby when you get him in like a bicycle. You know, you do the bicycle legs.
Yeah.
And then you straighten the legs. Yeah.
We just got to baby these legs out. And then I think we could find something. But I think it's Belichick because he's not going to take shit off of anybody. And he's not going to. Yeah.
Dustin on his back. And Belichick's just like this.
just shaking the span eye.
Yeah, he's like, you're free. You don't have to listen to them anymore.
Doesn't that feel better?
You're my sweet
won't
baby.
be listening to your recommendations any further. Done. And give me 2 years in a Super Bowl, and then you can move on or something else. I don't know.
Go do your thing.
I'm not like a long-term goal guy at this point.
We
I
just
like
want one.
And then we can evaluate afterwards.
Just give me one good year. We'll probably fire you, and then we'll just figure it out from there.
Yeah.
It's the track record. That's what it is.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
Jacob McKinney, Dan Carter, and Friar Bolt, thank you guys for asking the question. Let's move it on now to House of Hangin. Shout out to Scott E. and Scotty B63, who asked the question.
Coach, can you break down in a positive way? How do you line up 8 yards off the line on 3rd and 1 and expect to stop it? No matter how good the D was on 1st and 2nd, on 3 and whatever equals a first down for them. Y'all know the definition of insanity. Okay, love you, bye. Sad for 10 and the O. For 3 years, the D hasn't been higher than 28th. 28th! And you make a team that hasn't scored more than 19 points or throw for over 300 yards have a monster career day? Guess what? It's not the personnel. It's the play calls. I love the Chargers, and that's why it hurts so much.
Great point.
It does hurt. But as far as like breaking it down in a positive way, I mean, Kyle kind of mentioned it earlier. It's like, they might have had an underneath guy. And I mean, in that game, say what you will, you had to respect the pass from Jordan Love. Like, you can't.
The only other thing that I can think of is Coach Staley's gotten to the point where he goes 3rd and 1. We're not stopping them.
Not even worth it.
Listen,
you guys, go
no
ahead,
big plays.
Get your first down. We'll try again.
We'll bounce back next.
We're gonna run this back on a fresh set of downs.
You get a first fresh set, and then we'll just do it again. We'll see what happens. I like our chances. We're not gonna change anything. We're gonna. I believe in it. We're gonna do it again after this 3rd and 1 that you successfully and very easily convert.
Unless it's 3rd and 45, I think we should let them try and get another set of fresh downs. Really.
Yeah. Just like 3rd and 1, get your fresh set, and we're just not going to give up a big play.
Yeah.
We're going to sit back at 8 yards, try to throw it deep. I dare you.
I dare you.
That's kind of the Charger defense philosophy. Throw it deep. I dare you. And then,
you did it. Okay, well, a double dog dare you.
Shoot, you did it. Do it again. Same guy.
Yeah, I
Same
dare
route.
you.
Do it again.
Can't triple stamp, double stamp.
All right.
That's my thought.
That's about the most positive way you could have broken that
That was
down.
so insightful, actually.
Yeah.
House of Hangin, Scotty E, and Scotty B63, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to OM Run, who asked the question. Herbert was pissed in this game and last game. I hate that the team is breaking such a quiet, introvert, and all-around nice guy like Herbert. However, I like seeing him all fired up. How do you feel about Herbert anger on the field and sideline? We like it very much, thank you.
Daddy
likes.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
He gets angry.
Yes, he does.
He slams his fist.
Get to the chopper.
Big fans. OM Run, thank you for asking the question.
Do we want to dive into that at all? Or
all that to say,
we like.
Daddy likey.
All right. Let's move on now to Mickey Coates, who asked the question.
What's something you loved from this game? A positive I got out of this game was the emotion we saw from Herbert. Never seen him get that angry. Out of context, you would have expected the O-line to have not returned their shopping carts. Sadly, it took a game like this to see it.
I think he's comfortable now. Does not hold anything back. He's like, if he's pissed, he's going to be pissed.
He's going to be pissed.
And the things he's pissed about, I'm pissed about.
We all are.
So let's be pissed
That's what
together.
a leader does.
Yeah. Amen.
So, but the question is, let's something you loved from this game besides Herbert getting angry.
I like Justin's run. Like he definitely
ran a lot more.
He was carving them up. He ran for 70 yards or something, and watching them just not be able to stop that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Especially that one where he almost scored and he like Heisman the dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ty Noel got an awesome shot of him getting like Heisman.
Yeah, the Heisman was good. Also, the colors of the teams were pretty. Those were fun jerseys.
I didn't realize they were the throwback Packer jerseys. That was pretty cool looking too.
Yeah, it's good colors.
Good colors.
That was exciting.
Yeah,
positive.
That is a positive. Something that I loved. Love Stone Smart getting his first touchdown.
Good one.
Dude,
Very good. Very good one.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
it was great for him because he refresh my memory. He's an undrafted.
Oh yeah,
free agent.
Oh yeah, he's like a D2 quarterback.
Yeah,
converted to tight end. Yeah.
See,
we need to get Q some of that confidence.
Yeah,
because Stone was dropping them all beginning of the season. Caught one touchdown. Let's see how he does now.
There you go.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, Mickey Coates. Thank you for asking the question.
Thanks, Mickey.
Let's move on now to H Dog, who asked the question. What are your thoughts on Staley lashing out at the reporters? Is it a good sign that he's fired up and pissed off? I agree with him that this was a team loss, and part of me is happy he's showing passion. The other part of me is tired of his excuses. You can pretty much copy and paste his answers in every presser since the Jacksonville game. I'm doing all I can to still support him and curious what your thoughts are on his answers, especially when he's telling Papa to do his journalistic duty and look at the training camp reporting when we're this far into the season. Thanks for staying shamelessly positive, and K love you, bye.
Going back to the last question, the one thing that I am enjoying is like Kyle mentioned it earlier, is how much fun the rivalry between Popper and Coach has become.
Yeah,
that's a WWE kind of energy going on. In there.
That's how you. Hey, if you're Popper, that's how you get your name into the mainstream media.
That's true,
big time. He'll be on one of these FS1 shows in no time.
Oh yeah, he's good at poking the bear.
Oh yeah,
not afraid to do it. But yeah, I think, in a similar way, we're excited about Herbert getting pissed off. Kind of nice to see Staley being a little pissed off too. Like most of these pressers, he's been out there. He's pretty calm and collected. He's been maybe a little agitated, but not to the point that we've seen him kind of lash out in the way that he did. He's had it up to here. And now he's going to be pissed off.
I love that. That might be a little too more shamelessly positive than I'm willing to be, but I feel you. I feel that point of view a little bit. Sure.
Yeah. Just trying to, have fun over here. H Dog, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Boltville 714, who asked the question. What do you guys think would happen if we somehow would get Staley after his presser to go into a phone booth with Daniel Popper? I know you guys want to keep playing this I'm not ready to talk about that just yet card, Kevin, but it's time to face the music. Hashtag fire Staley. Love you. Bye.
Staley would kick the crap out of Popper.
Yeah, I think Staley would probably have the upper hand in the physical battle. I mean, Popper might have a pen.
I don't know if you
do not want to read the report that he has after the fight. That's for sure.
I don't think Staley would be
want that article.
You're right.
Staley wouldn't be that great of a defensive fighter. More
no, he would be on the offense. Yeah.
Sorry, that was setting itself up.
Well, and if you found a weakness, you could just really attack it.
Yeah, because he'll ignore it all the time.
Yeah. He'll have so much confidence in his chin. It'll just be like, punch me.
I dare you.
Third one, come get it.
Yeah, come and get it. All right. Boltville 714, thank you for asking the question.
714.
Move it on to Irish Bolt fan, who asked the question.
Is it even possible to repair or rebuild the front office while the Spanos family are there? Who would be the right fit as a GM, head coach if they were allowed control in decision-making? Should Tom Telesco be eventually sacked for his years of terrible drafting, free agents, and head coaching decisions?
I think if the first domino goes, it's going to be a pretty domino heavy day at Chargers.
What do you have to do to keep your job in the NFL?
Yeah,
win.
Yeah, how on earth do you a decade as a GM and you've never won anything?
Yeah,
I never won an AFC West. We won one playoff game. Like, how on earth do you keep your job? I'm sorry. Like, I know he's had a couple good draft picks here and there that arguably may have fallen to him. But most of the free agent decisions that we make, mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Brian Bulaga basically died when he came over. Now Corey Linsley,
basically,
like Brian Bulaga played like 4 plays for the Chargers.
Pretty much.
And we paid him a lot of money for 4 years.
Yeah,
Khalil Mack has been his one. Like that was a good signing. That guy's a stud.
Yeah,
but in free agency, J.C. Jackson, awful. You know, like
Stevie Johnson back in the day, wide receiver. Not
every
great.
old
Gaither,
linebacker, every old linebacker that we've picked up.
I liked Kyle Van Noy when we had him.
Kyle Van Noy was a great pick.
That feels like a Staley. That feels like a Staley pick, though. Honestly,
I don't know. I just don't know how if you're going by you win to keep your job. I don't know. I don't know how you won enough in the last decade.
Well, and this is he has the longest tenured run as a GM in Chargers. He's matched AJ's.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be the year that you would fold it if it was.
AJ went 14-2 and won AFC West a lot when he was the GM.
No,
it's
and
not
had contract disputes with everyone.
That's fine. They still won. Like if you're just going based on winning, he had some good years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hard to say, Irish Bolt fan, but appreciate you asking the question. Let's move on now to Daryl 21 and shout out to Athir Kadir.
Thayer.
Who asked the question.
Kadir.
Hey guys, can you please shed some light on this? When a child has a broken toy, why won't he give it over to dad to give him the damn glue to fix it? Who? He screams, mine, mine. How the hell does Staley keep demanding that this defense is fine under his control when the whole flippin' world can see it's broken? This defense has a train wreck, and Staley is straight up delusional beyond reasoning at this point. Hoo-ha. Okay, I got that out of my system. Now, for my question. Do you see a major cleanup coming, both in the coaching staff and players come this offseason? Can't wait for this episode, guys. This should be another doozy. Hoo-ha. Oh, and by the way, since we seem to lose 2, then win 2, then lose 2, we should beat Baltimore and New England in the next 2 weeks. Okay, love you, bye. Hoo-ha!
You're onto something. You may be onto something.
Oh, it's a doozy.
That was a really good script.
Doozy. You don't see doozy written out very often.
No, I like it.
I like it. Makes me happy.
All right.
A major cleanup coming. Honestly, I think we're going to have a lot more after this game. A lot more after Baltimore. That's the soonest I think you'll see something happen.
Yeah.
Honestly. But
at the end of the day, yes, I think a big overhaul is going to happen in this offseason.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it could be players as well. We have a lot of big ass contracts that we might need to offload.
Joey Bosa gets a lot of money to not play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so hard to say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
It sucks. He's really good at football when he's on the field and he's healthy. Yeah. 1 game this year, he was healthy and on the field. Yeah. 1 game. And last year, less than that.
So we might see a lot of change, unfortunately, and or fortunately, depending on how you look at that.
Well, you kind of want to, with Justin right now, like you want a hard reset as fast as freaking possible and try and get something going for him because you're paying him a lot of money and he's going to be our quarterback for, he's got to find a certain amount of time. Right. So get it right as quick as freaking possible. If this isn't it, rip cord and do it. Like whatever needs to be done.
We'll see what happens, but Daryl 21 and Athir Kadir, thank you for asking the question. Let's hope we do get those next 2 wins.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be fun.
I still want to win the Super Bowl this year, by the way.
Just a heads up.
I just want to keep this out there. I still want to win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, let's move on now to Gavin Gibson, and shout out to Fighting Spirit Picard.
I got to feel so fresh.
Who asked the question?
I'm normally a shamelessly positive guy, but it's so hard when the Chargers do this week in and week out. I'm genuinely worried now that this team can't even beat the Donkeys. Is there any way we can save this season? I have my doubts. Kill of you, bye.
Yeah. If there's still a way we can save it, we could win it out.
Mathematically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a way. It's not an easy way or a likely way, but there's a way.
Yeah. And if there's a will,
There's a way. And the Donkeys aren't bad. So, yeah, if we lose to the Donkeys, it's not like we've lost to worse teams already this year.
Yeah. So
they beat the Vikings on Sunday night.
That's right.
And the Vikings had like a 6-game winning streak going.
Well, we'll find out. Gavin Gibson and Fighting Spirit Picard.
I feel you though, bud.
Feel you, absolutely. Thank you guys for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Zachary Shelton, who asked the question.
Another ridiculous loss, and it's starting to feel like even you guys can't help us pull out of this funk. Well, let's just get to my question. Based on everything that you've seen with the injuries and even how our team is playing this season, what are your thoughts on the state of the AFC in regards to this team? You've had so many big injuries happen to a lot of the top teams in the AFC, and now it looks like it's not going to be the best of the best in the playoffs. You're going to have Houston as a playoff team, and the top teams right now are Kansas City, Baltimore, and Miami.
It's kind of crazy how many quarterbacks from other teams have gone down.
There's been at least like 6
It's a lot.
Yeah.
quarterbacks that have gone down this season.
Aaron Rodgers started the year.
Yeah.
gone.
He was the first domino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had like, what was it? Panthers.
And Burrow just went down.
Burrow just went down.
Burrow's down.
Cousins
Deshaun
is down.
Watson's
Deshaun Watson.
There's a lot of other teams in really worse places than we are right now. So just give it a little
Justin
perspective
Herbert,
on
you
that.
got a shot.
You do have a shot.
Absolutely.
Just get the secondary figured out. Toot sweet, Staley. Toot sweet.
Yeah, that's what made the loss on Sunday that much harder is a lot of these wildcard teams are going down hard left and right. You know, we should be so firmly in that wildcard race.
Should be.
And the Chiefs went down. It was just a good week for us to get a W.
Yeah, we would have been right in there if we would have won that.
Yeah, that would have been very exciting. But we'll see how the rest of the season plays out there, Zachary Shelton. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Seesaw Million, and shout out to Asher Gooddale. But go with Seesaw, who asked the question. 4 questions in Staley's angry voice, okay? Chances we fire Staley. Chances we fire Telesco. Chances NFL gets tired of Chargers wasting LA market and Herbert's talent. They force Spanos family to sell the team. Chances we make the playoffs.
So you want percentages for all these?
Yeah. Chances we fire Staley.
Right now, I'd say
85%.
I'd say about 40.
40 midseason, 85 postseason.
Yeah.
Or do you think 85 midseason, Kyle?
I think if right now there's like an 80. Well, no, I'm not gonna. Okay.
Actual math.
I guess in the scheme of will he get fired this season?
Yes.
I'd give it an 85% chance, maybe 90% chance.
Okay.
Whether that's in season or out of season, it's probably less likely in season, but still pretty high, pretty up there.
Okay. Chances we fire Telesco.
20%.
Really?
Whoa! You don't think he's gone?
I just think the organization loves having him just do their bidding
Right.
a little bit.
You
It
think
feels
he's more of a yes man than a general manager?
I think
He's enough of a
possibly that's
puppet?
why he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Staley seems more likely than Telesco.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
Staley up there at 70% fired as well.
I'm not over 50% on any of these guys yet. That's my shameless positivity
Nice.
speaking.
Look at you.
Look at me.
Chances the NFL gets tired of Chargers wasting LA market and Herbert's talent. They force Spanos family to sell the team.
0.
Yeah.
I think the
Big
NFL
0.
secretly likes us to fall apart every season.
Yeah.
It makes it for stupid people to talk about us.
Makes
Somewhat
it more
entertaining.
fun for the good teams to beat us.
Yeah.
And then chances we make the playoffs.
I think it's at 17% right now.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with
It's in
17.
the teens.
Yeah, I was gonna say 20%.
Yeah.
It's like 17.875 or something specific.
17 is a good number, so
Yeah.
17.
I like that. All right. Well, there you go. Seesaw Million and Asher Gooddale. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to gigs. Shout out to Leo Martinez, Theory Huge, Ivan, ACP Luck, AE, Jacob Space Picuito, Derwin's Dirty Duck, and Asante Samuel III.
Certified fresh. There's a lot of certified fresh in there.
Yes,
And Gigs is certified fresh.
definitely. Who asked the question?
Best head coaching candidates for the Charger job once Staley is gone. And who we drafting?
Do you honestly think we have a chance at Harbaugh?
Yeah.
You think so?
He definitely feels more like a chance than Belichick does.
I feel like
Belichick's 0% chance. He's not going to charge.
I give him 1%, but I think Harbaugh would be great. We're talking percentages.
I know. I just like how you
Can't
threw it out
1%.
there and immediately went on to the next topic.
Price is
before
right, Bob.
Letting anybody counteract that 1%.
Price is
I
right.
give him 1%. So, anyways,
moving on. Sorry.
Yeah, Harbaugh feels like could be a possibility.
Rex Ryan's got some fire for the Chargers right now.
Sure.
I don't know. That was intense.
I think he's a little bit mad at the Chargers still because he was boys with Anthony Lynn.
That's right.
They coached together. They were like buddies.
Oh, that's not going to happen. Never mind.
He was like
Interesting,
he was like
yeah.
super pro Chargers the whole time that
Coach
he
Lynn
was
was there.
that he was coaching. Yeah. So and now I think he's just mad at them because they fired him.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to do a little bit more digging, I think, into the whole who's gonna coach and who are the candidates.
Right.
I will say though, after losing to the Lions, Ben Johnson, that OC, seems like he's probably going to be up there on a lot of people's boards for
Sure.
head coaching job. I do like the idea of an offensive coordinator. Poor Justin Herbert has just been put through the ringer with OC after OC after OC.
Yeah.
So getting somebody that can come in here and stabilize that a little bit would be nice.
Just be nice to get somebody that has a track record. And when I know the
Right.
Chargers never do that. They always get like a first-time coach or a stud coordinator, which is what we have right now. So it'd be nice.
Who's a stud head coach that doesn't have a job?
Harbaugh.
They all have jobs because they're good.
Well, you'd have to pay. You're going to have to pony up to get one of these guys. And that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The only guys available are guys that have already sucked at it. Like, that's why they're available. You either get somebody new that's never done it and hope that it hits,
Right.
or you pay someone that's already done it and sucked.
Who's been fired, basically.
Yeah.
Harbaugh's kind
You
of
don't
in
fire
that
unless
weird
you
place that as a coach that made
Harbaugh's
it.
awesome. He's
That's
a
what I
unicorn
mean.
because he was great in the NFL, but then he's like, no, I'm going back to college, and he's killed it and built up Michigan to be this powerhouse. But now, luckily, he's having all this drama, and so maybe he's like, I'm over the NCAA. So maybe
I just hope he had a good experience with the span eye when he was a player. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Because the track record of past players loving the Spanos family is real good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
we don't know who the head coach could be, and we certainly don't know who we're drafting.
But hey, we've turned the page. We're at least engaging in a conversation about it now.
Yeah.
So,
We're
look at us.
entertaining it.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Look at us.
All right. Well, thank you. Giggs, Leo Martinez, Theory Huge, Ivan, ACP Luck, AE, Jacob Space, Pequito, Derwin's Dirty Duck, and Asante Samuel III. Thank you guys for asking the question. We go out of Ask Boltfam with Mr. Pekar. How was the fried cheese? Do you think that consuming these before the game made our boys' hands more slippery than a banana peel on Mario Kart? Causing so many drops, I'll bet Eckler stepped on a few too. Speaking of slippery, do you know what is 12 inches long and slippery? Slippers. Love my bolts. BTFU, FTR, KLWI.
There is a cheesy quality in the air up there. So
Is it thick? Like the air's thick?
smells
Musty.
good.
Yeah, it smells great.
It smells good everywhere you go. It smells like fried food everywhere you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, you just take a big, deep breath and you're like, oh, I'm full.
Be a great place to diet.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there were a couple cheese curds out there that
Honestly, the thing for me that really was like a big point, a sticking point that I don't think people realized was how low in the sky the sun was and how it was like.
it was really weird. Like,
Remember before the game, I was like, whoever I would be more interested in field position for the first half because we deferred and they got to select which way they went.
true.
And when we were facing that way, we dropped everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's something more. I'm not making excuses for them, but when I'm blinded, And the light was bouncing off mirror windows and reflecting back. It was no one's taking me seriously. Just singing over my answers, but that's okay.
Well, we were talking about cheese curds, and you're like, let me be serious for a second.
Well, I wanted to point something out.
Damn sun. Always getting in the way.
Oh, that sun. Screwing things up for everybody. Lighting our crops.
What if what if football helmets had visors like baseball hats? You know, like you wear hats to keep the sun out.
I would have actually not have been surprised if like Justin Herbert came out
with the visor
halftime with like the visor on, because he's just like, I can't see it.
Every player should have a visor on in that game.
It really was kind of surprising that that wasn't a thing. But yeah, could have been the cheese curds. Never know.
Let's blame it. Don't blame it on the cheese curds. They didn't do anything.
Let's blame it on the sun. Planet Earth.
All right. Well, Mr. Pekar, thank you for asking the question. And thank you, everybody, for asking questions and Ask Boltfam. Greatly appreciate it. I know this was a rough one. We had some moments, and we got out, and we are still Charger fans.
Yeah, always.
Still love this team.
Till the day I die.
And we're still going to try to keep it as shamelessly positive as we possibly can.
For sure.
There was a minute on Sunday where I had a real serious talk with my two oldest sons. I was like, hey, guys, now's your chance. If you want to pick another team, don't do it before it's too late. And they're both like, I will be a Charger fan for the rest of my life. And I was like, good, you passed.
You didn't blow it, sons.
Your awesome. Bags were packed. Moment. I'm going to unpack them now.
Yeah.
You get to stay.
Sorry, orphanage. You're not taking these two.
Yeah.
After all.
I just would have been an extended timeout, but
yeah.
They did good.
All right. Well, folks, thank you guys for hanging with us. We greatly appreciate it. That's going to do it for this episode. Any final thoughts there, gentlemen?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble.
I think we're going to have a short episode on Thanksgiving, but we'll be back.
We'll be here.
There's a bunch of football this week, boys.
There's a lot of football.
There's
on
a
Thanksgiving.
Friday game.
Yeah, Black Friday,
Thursday, Friday,
on Thursday.
Yeah. Gonna be fun.
Come on,
let's do it.
Hang tight, folks. That's gonna do it for us here at Charger Chat. Don't forget to bolt up, because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Feeling backed up? Need to let out some air? Want to get your heart pumping while you're at it? Then come on down to Baby Legs Aerobics. Our staff are professionally trained to help get that heart pumping and get that gas a-blowing. And nothing to be embarrassed about. Our staff is professionally trained and equipped to deal with whatever you blow our way. Baby Legs Aerobics. Just let it all out. There you go. Atta boy. Yeah, get it all out. There we go. Keep those legs moving. No, that was a big one.